It's time for an inside look at the most powerful motorsport on the planet. WFO Radio, NHRA Nitro.
WFO Radio. Happy Friday, everybody. It's another edition of WFO Live on a Friday. And it is Easter weekend in America, in the world, and we're going to have ourselves a great old time. Last week on our Friday Cocktails show, we had Courtney Enders, we had Jason Logan. It was a whole lot of fun. I got so much feedback from you guys, the listeners out there and the viewers, that we just got to do it again and again. And so this week we've got another Friday crew set up. It is going to be great. We are going to hear from stock eliminator maven Randi Lyn Shipp, going to be on the show. I like people who have something to say. That is what matters most. You got to have something to say. And Randi Lyn has got something to say. Good ideas, good comments, good commentary, a whole lot of fun, and an excellent race car driver with that stock eliminator, Firebird, doing giant wheel stands. And we've also got Top Fuel racer Clay Millican, who also has got something to say. Good opinions, good personality, and a whole lot of fun. So they will be joining us seconds from now. We got them in the green room geared up. But here's what we got to do. We got to build the audience. It's Friday at 4 o'clock Eastern time. So you West Coast folks, it's 1 o'clock on a Friday. Blow it off, whatever it is, right? You shouldn't be at work anyway. It's like a holiday. You should be hanging out with us, enjoying. Now, it is Good Friday, so if you don't want to partake, that's your benefit as well, your choice. Let me know either way, but we are going to have some good fun. Now, while the audience builds, what does that mean? Watch parties. If you're watching on Facebook, start a watch party. Get your friends on here. It's going to be fun. Where's the conversation going to go? I have no idea. I really don't know. I have no idea. Preparation for these things is pointless because it always goes somewhere different than you prepared for. So we're just getting together. So start a watch party. Those of you on YouTube, your comments come through as well. So all you listeners will be able to comment on what we're saying. We'll put your comments up on the screen, and we're going to have a good time for about an hour or so. So get settled in, get ready for a little WFO Live on Friday. Now, this is all brought to you by our great friends at Total Seal Piston Rings, the leader in ring seal technology, Matt Hartford, Lake Speed, Keith Jones, the guys over there, big supporters of WFO Radio. In fact, we are trying to get the word out about Total Seal Piston Rings so much, we have started a podcast for them as well called Hidden Horsepower by Total Seal. Keith Dorton, a NASCAR legend, is our latest victim on Hidden Horsepower by Total Seal. And of course, all you DIY racers, they got a 20% off discount right now during these tough times. Check them out. Samtech.edu, the School of Automotive Machinists and Technology. Brian Massengill and the family, we got a podcast for them too. Factory Stock Podcast. Speaking of Factory Stock, Bo Butner, Randi Lyn, they are in that world as well. Factory Stock Podcast, great stuff. But it's all about you kids saving us. The next generation. We need mechanics and machinists and CNC programmers and all of that stuff. You don't just learn that. You got to go somewhere. You got to get educated. And they do it at samtech.edu. Marvin Rodak, RodaksCoffeeandGrills.com, great friend of mine, roasting gourmet coffee down there in Fort Worth, Texas. Barbecue, hot sauces, spice rubs, everything that is good and amazing, award-winning. He's been on TV, and he's a drag racer. What more could you want? And he's like waiting by the phone right now, RodaksCoffeeandGrills.com, for you to order a little gourmet coffee. Mine should be arriving any second. And Frank Hawley's Drag Racing School, the Dragster Adventure. I got invited to do the Dragster Adventure, and of course this COVID-19 thing happens. Hopefully, I'll get to do it some other time, and then I can defeat everybody and show my racing prowess against a bunch of novice rookies that I will dominate, and then claim that it was a huge victory. It will be great. I can't wait. But you can do that too, frankhawley.com, or actually get your license, learn to drive an alcohol funny car. Frank Hawley, of course, one of the legends, one of the greats, and of course, magicdryus.com. All right, without further ado, let's bring on our guest. We're going to stagger him by about 2 minutes. First up, she is like one of the first ladies of Stock Eliminator Racing, doing the Stock Eliminator World Tour in her 1967 Pontiac Firebird, does giant wheel stands, joins us now, Miss Randi Lyn Shipp. Randi Lyn, how are you?
Hey, Joe, what's going on?
Are you ready for this?
I'm ready.
You're ready for a little
it's
Friday?
It's about time we do something around here with all this corona going around. There's not much going on.
Right. Everybody is streaming something. Do I have your Twitter handle absolutely correct? I forgot whether it's 2 I's or 2 T's.
I think it's correct.
Yeah. Yeah, you're not a big Twitter girl, are you, though?
No, not very much.
No.
I'm
Well,
still stuck on the Facebook.
yeah, well, that's great. And we're on Facebook right now, and hopefully your friends and family are going to watch and listen, and we're going to have ourselves a good old time. Now, it's kind of crazy. You're a great ambassador for Stock Eliminator. You've got an amazing car. You go run all the national events, and you I think, draw attention to the category, frankly.
Thank you. I try with Bo running Pro Stock and stuff. I feel like it kind of trickles down. People know him, so they know me, and they pay a little bit more attention to Stock Eliminator. So whatever it takes, because I believe it's the coolest class out there. So
It is.
we'll take that.
And you're known, and we'll talk about it a little bit more, but you're known for being very creative in terms of the Halloween situation. We're gonna get to that, as many other commentary as well. Want to let you know, I bring the show in a direction or two, but if you got anything that you want to dive in on, you let us know. Feel free to take the show in any direction you want. Let's bring in our next guest, though, who is joining us from Drummond's, Tennessee. Randi Lyn, you're in Floyd's Knobs, Indiana, correct?
I am.
Floyd's Knobs, Indiana. And Drummond's, Tennessee, here he is. Top fuel racer, television personality, great friend of WFO Radio, Mr. Clay Millican. Clay, what's up? Happy Friday.
Hey, Clay.
Hey guys, how is everybody today?
I'm great. I accomplished. I did yard work. I got a giant pile of garbage in front of my house ready for them to pick up tomorrow. So I feel like I accomplished something. What about you?
Hey, go ahead, Randi Lyn. Ladies first.
Ladies first. What'd you do today?
I do not like yard work, and I hate weeds, but occasionally, especially in a time like this, there's been nothing better to do. So we've kind of done a little bit of everything, but mainly cleaning up the garage and stuff away from the bugs. That's more my territory.
Against bugs. Weeds and mosquitoes, the two hatest, useless things on earth. Weeds and mosquitoes. What about you, Clay?
Well, I can tell you that, so Donna, my wife, absolutely should be in the house flipping business, because it has been a flipping nightmare, all the work she's had me doing. Obviously, I love her and think the world of her, but oh my goodness, she does not stop working. And she's had me, I've been making about 3 trips a week to the dump, taking stuff off. She sprayed the yard. She's been at mom and daddy's painting. I was over there yesterday. I literally dug a ditch. I installed a drain pipe. I put gravel on top of it. I'm ready to go racing.
There you go. How long was the honey-do list? Think about it. You've been racing how many years straight now? And there's just certain things that fall through the cracks. And so this list was pretty long. And you can expect it's all coming down on your head in one swift swoop.
It is, no doubt about it. And the crazy thing is I don't think there's an end to the list, which right now it's okay. It's like, okay, it gives me something to do every day when I get up, besides get on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram.
Yes, exactly. Speaking of which, we're on Facebook and YouTube right now. And if you are a listener out there, feel free to comment. We'll put it up on the screen for Randi Lyn or for Clay. What about you? Okay, Randi Lyn, you're away from the bugs. The race car is pretty well maintained at the racetrack. You mentioned you're doing some stuff. I know Bo has been in the shop a lot. How have you been staying occupied during this very challenging time? And Clay, breaking out the beverage. Good job, Clay. Thank you. First beverage goes to Clay.
When Gainesville got canceled like it did after the Sportsman was done, we went on down. Bo's mom has a house in Sanibel, Florida, and we thought, oh, this won't take too long. We'll just go down to Sanibel, hang out for a week or so, and everything will return back to normal. But this was no comparison to what we really thought in our heads. So we took off about a week after we were there. We were like, it's not getting any better. Business, they were starting to say businesses need to close down, and car lots were one of them. They weren't going to be able to operate. It wasn't considered essential, even though the rest of our businesses were essential. So Bo said, we need to take off and we need to get back home. And that's what we did. So we've been home ever since. And, since the car lots closed, there's not a whole lot for us to do. We've been cleaning out the shop, and which it was like 20 years worth of racing memorabilia and craziness that Bo kind of has a buying problem when it comes to crazy RFC auctions and draw auctions. You just don't know what you're going to find in our shop. And we found a lot of pretty crazy things. So
What's the craziest
That's
thing
what
you
we've been
found?
doing.
What is the craziest thing that you found during this cleaning? Because I went through that same deal. I went my whole life in jackets, like my high school track champion jacket. And then my, like as you went along, it was just jackets. Popular Hot Rodding Super Show win jacket. So what was the craziest thing you found?
Oh my gosh, a lot of pictures, and we have probably 20 hoods from different cars that they changed hoods and stuff like that on comp cars. And I mean, the hood scoops on the different cars are pretty crazy because a lot of them are from the 80s and 90s. And, they have like the complete square,
Yeah, Harwood.
like a mailbox looking
Yeah.
hood scoop. It's crazy. So we found a lot of hoods that we didn't even know we had.
There you go. What about you, Clay? Have you've been working? You've been a contractor over there, but have you done any memory lane clean outs of an old closet or something?
Oh. So what we've been mainly doing, the honeydew list has really been at mom and daddy's. Over the last few years, we lost mom and daddy, but their place is literally, I don't know how to make it. It's just right over there. It's not very far away. And it is, as my sisters call it, the Clay Millican Museum. Mama has every newspaper article, you name it, she has it. And we're at that point, it's like we can't throw this stuff away. So Donna just moments ago ordered, I don't know how many big plastic totes to put all this stuff in. And I don't know what will happen to it. I mean, we're going to put it and store it away somewhere, but it's like stuff you don't want to throw away. I promise you in there somewhere, and I have tried my dangest not to go down memory lane too much, but I guarantee you in there somewhere is an article or an IHRA drag review of me and Bo Butner racing in modified, IHRA modified. I promise you she's got it.
Wow.
Because she has every scrap of everything that's ever been printed. And the cool part about some of that is it is so old, some of it, that it's not, you can't go on Google and find it. So that's why you hate to throw any of it away. But at the same time, it is a mountain of stuff. Mama kept it all.
No, you can't. The Clay Millican
Yeah.
Museum is going to be like a tourist attraction in Drummond's, Tennessee in like 2040. Kids are going to go there and pay to see it. But you can't throw anything away. I'm accused of being a hoarder, but not memories. Like that's something like, hey, look, I accomplished something as a younger person and throw it away. Like that's, I don't know.
Yeah, you can't.
It's crazy.
You can't, I was just made me think about that was when Randi Lyn was talking about all the old hood scoops. There's probably a hood scoop in there somewhere from me and Bo back in the IHRA modified eliminator days because we raced each other a lot. And we always had good races. Our only problem, and this is me and Bo's only problem we ever had, is Anthony Bertozzi was in the same class. That was never a good thing. The guy only won about, 15 freaking championships in IHRA modified eliminator.
Yeah, he's good. Anthony's pretty good, right? There's a lot of great racers out there that are just savant-like talent, and the TV shows can't cover everybody, and that's the problem. But like Randi Lyn said, like stock eliminator, 9-wide tire cars, and exactly as they were intended, but super modified. They could be their own show if that's what we were doing on this given day.
No. If NHRA would publicize it a little bit better, I mean, there's not much cooler than a 67 Firebird racing a 2019 Cobra Jet Mustang that's out on the street today, and like my car's a car your grandpa would have. Like, that's just a cool concept to me.
Yeah, I think it is, absolutely. And go ahead, Clay.
Oh, I'm just laughing because Donna is over here. Can I print something? And I told her she could come on here. Her and Randi Lyn are big buddies. And
Donna's welcome on the screen. This is very relaxed. Get in here.
Hey, Donna.
Come on over.
Hello, Donna. You're now.
She's shaking
now
her
you
head.
have to do it, Donna. And it's like
So
now
Me and Donna do all the T-shirt stuff together. So when Clay was saying all of that about the tubs that she has, I know because she brings me tubs of T-shirts all the time.
Yes,
and I'm like,
she
oh my
does.
gothat what am I going to do with all these T-shirts?
Now that's been a big project, Randi Lyn, the T-shirt deal. Get into that. Like,
Yeah.
is it more than you expected? Did you think you were going to have like a little side business, and then all of a sudden it kind of has overwhelmed, taken over your life? Speaking of things taking over your life, I think that has taken over your life.
Yeah, I did not intend for that to happen. The only person I know that's crazier than Bo when it comes to business ventures or anything in life is Kenny Koretsky. And when Bo and Kenny get together, I just know we're very lucky that Bo quit drinking before he met Kenny. Because if Bo was still in his drinking days, him and Kenny would have had some craziness going on. So now that Bo's sober, at least one of them can keep each other on track. But when they get to gambling and stuff, there's no telling where it's going to go. And one day they just decided they were going to bring the t-shirt trailer back, which in the end meant Randi Lyn's going to bring the t-shirt back. Yeah. So I didn't really know what I was getting into in the beginning of it, but it's been a lot of fun. And it's kind of, I feel like we're all in NHRA drag racing to make it a better place, to make it better for fans, for drivers, for everybody involved. And I think with all of that, that's my contribution to the sport. And so I've embraced it now.
Now is a perfect time to alert you listeners out there that you can get a WFO radio t-shirt at nitrofishracing.com, as well as a Clay Millican t-shirt and a Randi Lyn t-shirt. Everybody on the screen has got a t-shirt in that Nitrofish trailer at nitrofishracing.com. Stress, though. You've made stress for yourself. I always say it about drag racers. For fun, they will create some stress and a problem for them to solve, and that's exactly what this is. Now, all of a sudden, you got a whole bunch of racers that they want their art, and they want their shirt, and where's the shirt, and the positioning in the trailer, and the trailer in general, who's going to work the trailer. Fortunately, you had a good crew out there last year, but just pretty crazy, your side hustle.
Yeah. Well, we're currently swapping over all of the internet stuff. So our whole website will be different here in a couple of days, I hope. And all Clay stuff will be on there in a couple of days. I have it all on the new website. So once it transfers over, it's going to be, I hope, way better, way easier to use. So we're working on all that.
That's awesome. That is.
Yeah.
So, go ahead, Clay.
So I got to hop in here on the t-shirt thing. So I got to tell, I talk about it all the time. The t-shirts we sell, we donate all the money to animal rescue. And what I never say, because I probably am not supposed to, but Randi Lyn and Bo also give their portion of the money to the animal rescue as well. And it is very much appreciated. And there's a lot of little puppy dogs that are still around and rescued because of really Donna and Randi Lyn.
Wow.
Me and Bo just talk a lot. That's what we do.
Yeah.
Well,
I like dogs. I like all animals. So we try to give when Donna said that they wanted to give all the portion of their t-shirt sales, to their foundation, I was all about it too, because nobody wants an animal to go hungry.
Exactly. And we have sold, a lot of t-shirts, and I got to tell this story again on the t-shirt thing. So it's been a couple years ago now. Iggy, which is our miniature bull terrier. If you know him, you know him. The people that follow him on social media, he has his own Instagram page. But we took him to puppy training when he was tiny, like a little bitty guy. And the people that print our t-shirts is across the street from the animal training place. And so we just walk in over there to place an order on shirts, and we got him in our hand. They're like, oh, he's so cute. And y'all should make a t-shirt. We're like, ain't nobody going to buy a t-shirt of our dog except us. Well, when we showed up to pick the shirts up,
I see where this is going.
They had printed an Iggy shirt, and we're like, ain't nobody going to buy them but us. And they said, well, just take them and see. And so told Randi Lyn about them, and she's like, yeah, we'll see how it goes. Well, the first year that we did it, Iggy outsold me at every race but two.
Yeah. They do.
It's a running joke. Randi Lyn, when her and Donna figure their money out, it is like I'm high-fiving myself if I outsell Iggy. I mean, it's just crazy. But Iggy sells a lot of shirts. He does. Has no race car on it. No race car, no nothing. And people buy Iggy.
Well, he's got a famous look. Right.
He does.
He's got a famous look, except he's, I don't recall the shirt, but if it's got any kind of drag race theme to it, if it's just the dog, like that, it's just the dog. Well, it's still,
just the dog.
He's got a famous look, and dogs are very popular in our world. Like, come on.
And, we use him to judge how old people are, because if people that are watching this, if you don't, again, it's Iggy, Iggy, Iggy D Millican on Instagram.
Yes.
But if somebody comes up and says, Spuds McKenzie, and I'm like, okay, they're my age. And if they say, oh, it looks like the Target dog, then I know they're Randy Lyn's age.
Yeah. Perfect example. Perfect example. What else sells, Randi Lyn, T-shirt wise? Like, what works? Like, we worked together on the WFO radio T-shirt, and I wanted something different. We came up with something different. It's going okay, and our listeners have it. But what have you learned through this experience that you can share us that you wouldn't be giving away? Like, we don't want you to give away your cylinder porting on the well, maybe not on your stock eliminator car. Certainly how the Quadrajet's set up. But what works?
Sometimes it's the craziest thing, like shirts that I'm like, oh, that's awful. It's hideous. It's never going to sell. They come out and they're the highest sellers. And then other things that I'm like, oh, I want that shirt. I order a lot of them because if I want it, I think everybody's going to want it. And that'll be the shirt that like, oh, a few racers here and there buy, but not everybody buys. So it's kind of hit or miss. The things that your general fans want and the things that your racers want are kind of two different things. And that surprises me a lot. But, Joe Castello's shirt, the WFO racing shirt, sells a lot to both parties. So we did pretty good on that one, I think.
I think the shirt came out pretty well. We had a couple of versions of it that, it was a process. And to me, that's the best part of it, is that the service of everyone thinks the shirt just ends up in the trailer, right? Like, you get somebody and then they draw the shirt and then you make it and you sell it. There's a process. It's a business, and you made it so easy. And that's what you've done for so many of the other racers, having a racer mentality. Like, you smoothed it out. And so you're actually providing a very important service out there people may not even realize.
I do try. I don't know if I always succeed as well as I did with you, but I do try.
Yeah, it's great. We're going to have version 2. Like, the ladies are complaining that they don't have a ladies version of the WFO radio T-shirt.
Yeah.
So,
well, we're about ready for a reorder.
Oh, there you go. There it is. All right. So I asked you guys to send in some photographs a little bit, and I got a couple that there was some, cross pollination, I guess. So the first is like wheelies. All right, Randi Lyn sent this great wheel stand shot of her 67 Pontiac Firebird. So we're going to have like a wheel stand competition between Clay and Randi Lyn here. Randi Lyn, that's a monster wheelie. Is that one of the biggest ones you've had? I know you had a couple last year that were nearly vertical, and usually round one stock, either Friday or Saturday, first thing out in the morning, Alan Reinhart loves to do that. Like, that's his passion play. And I love to go watch stock, so it works out great. So I'll be heading from one place to another, and when I hear your car ready to flip over backwards, I can tell what's going on the racetrack. So you've got a pretty, I'd call that a 45 degree wheel stand. Is that as high as you've been, or what would you say?
That's actually Gainesville last year I think that's still in the time runs, but everything that we kept trying to do to tame it down in Gainesville, the air is just so good. And when you wake up in the early mornings, it just gets better and better. And last year we ended up running Gainesville at Saturday night, late 12, 1 o'clock. And because of rain coming, and the better the air got, the later it got, it just kept rearing up. And I think the final round, it did the best one. It's 60-footed with the back tires. It was beautiful. The things that you hope to happen in a final round, especially when your wind light comes on, it did everything it was supposed to do. So, yeah, I really like the wheel stands. We call it the Torque Monster. That's a name that I stole from my friend Matt Lund.
Okay.
They used to call their car that. But, yeah, I always said I'm going to make a T-shirt that says, Torque Monster, because it makes it a cool name.
That's what Pontiacs are. Pontiacs go big time torque. And you won the Gator Nationals. Before we stop, you mentioned the Gator Nationals. Like, you and Bo won the Gator Nationals together, but not just the Gator Nationals, the 50th Gator Nationals. Clay, you had a great weekend that weekend as well, getting to the final round. And one of the greatest drag races that I've ever attended. Just so much good stuff going on. We had prepared for it for a year. And pretty much accomplished what we set out to accomplish. We had a glitch here or there, sound system, power. I think the power went out, but that adds character now as we're down the road. But to make the final round and to win it, Randi Lyn, to win that race, like I can't imagine there's a bigger race to win. Maybe Indy, but on a big round year, though, it's tough to match.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Randi Lyn made me and Donna stay up really late Saturday night, knowing I had to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning because she just kept going rounds. It was awesome.
Was that better for you? The fact that it was on Friday, right? Like we were chasing weather and all that, trying to get it in. You got to just groove. You got to just stay in that groove.
And she just killed it. I mean, and it was after midnight when y'all did the final, right, Randi Lyn?
Yeah, it was like 12:37 or something. We went to Waffle House later on that night. And when we went to Waffle House, I think it was like 1:30 in the morning, we were celebrating. And they had actually went to Waffle House the night before to eat dinner too. And I was like, I know we're going to have a long day tomorrow. I don't want to be up late. I'm going to bed. I didn't even go to Waffle House the night before, but the night I won, I went to Waffle House.
Oh, okay. All right. Well,
I love Waffle House.
So back to the wheel stand competition. I love, what do you get at Waffle House? I get the Burt's Chili. Burt's Chili at Waffle House. It's incredible.
I have
Grand Slam.
Yeah.
All right. Wheel stand competition. Entry number 1, that's Randi Lyn, 45 degrees. Clay Millican, Top Fuel Dragster. Uh-oh. Clay, it's about 40,
he might have me there.
Yeah, it's about 45 degrees, and does it count if you go over backwards? That's the question.
I think they'll take some points off for going over backwards, but I don't know. That's something that scares me to death. I hope I never do. So, yeah.
Tell us about that one, Clay.
Yeah, that was a little bit much. That was driver error on my part. And I would say Randi Lyn is the winner because her wheelie probably didn't end up costing thousands of dollars like mine did when it finished landing there.
Right. Yeah, the blowover is something that we fortunately don't see as much anymore. We have seen a couple in the alcohol ranks in the past couple of years, but there was a rash of them for a while. Stock eliminator, we haven't had a stock eliminator blowover just yet. Hope we never do. But you say driver error there, Clay. What was it? Obviously not quick enough getting off the throttle. Oh, look who's behind Randi Lyn. We see that dude.
What's up, Bo?
What's up,
I know
Bo?
you can't hear me.
So I'm a little delayed listening to you guys. And her wheelies cost way more than thousands of dollars, Clay, just to let you know. Way more.
Meaning that she gets to do them.
Yeah.
Yes.
Bo thinks I'm a little bit high maintenance, but I might be.
I think me or Joe, neither one is going to comment on that, Randi.
I'll comment. I don't mind. I'll dive right in on this. Yes, and you should be, Randi Lyn. Absolutely. You like things the way you like them, and they need to be that way, and they should help you get things the way you want them to be, because you give back in a million other ways. I have no problem commenting on that.
You got to know your worth.
Yes. and you win a lot of races too. Like you go out there on the national event level. Does that bug you that you haven't been able to chase a world championship because you're doing national event stuff as opposed to the combination of divisional and national events that way?
Not really. I still get to run quite a few divisionals, and I think if I actually had a shot to really chase things, that Bo would take me every bit of the way to try to chase them. I just have never had the right races line up early on, because I do, you count your first 3 out of 6 national events. So if I was to, win my first 3, then yeah, we would totally go chasing things. But because it's never really felt like that, we've never put in that effort. But it doesn't bother me at all. We get to experience a whole lot more craziness, shenanigans, and we do a whole lot of things, so I can't complain one bit.
Yeah, you guys are out there doing the whole thing. Here's a question from people out there. Andy Crane, who is a golfing pro, by the way, who listens to WFO Radio. I know both of you love golf. I enjoy golf as well. This guy's job, he's a regular WFO Radio listener, lives up in Connecticut area, is a racer, announcer, pro golfer. not like PGA Tour Pro, but Teaching Pro, right? But he wants to know if you guys are in on the virtual racing craze like Caps is. Are you guys in on that in any way?
Go ahead, Randy Lyn.
I am not. I don't do any of like the iRacing stuff. Bo did do the practice tree thing with Kyle Seipel a few weeks ago, and that was a lot of fun. I was definitely watching that. But Bo has like the steering wheels, the gas pedals. He's bought all of that stuff. But to actually sit down and run a 2.5, 3 hour race, we don't really have the time for that ever, and he doesn't really have the patience. So no, we haven't really got into that too much, but I know a lot of the other drivers like Sean, JR, I see all their posts and they're totally into that.
Yeah, I agree. I could easily do it. Like I could do that 10 hours a day every day, driving a video game. It'd be awesome. But you know, there's other things that I should probably be doing instead of that. The thing about Caps is he gets Napa out there. That's where he's really benefiting, is he's doing a good job for his sponsor, which is a thing.
Without a doubt. I mean, it's been fun watching. I mean, I got to tell the truth. I haven't watched a NASCAR race in many, many years. And the very first iRace that was on FS1, I watched it. Sat there and watched the entire thing. Me and Donna both did. Have I done it? No. I mean, I don't have the equipment to do it. And lately with all of the house repairs that we've been doing, you know, I haven't had time to do it either. But I got to admit, the pros versus Joes that Kyle Seipel did, we were 100% head first following that. Don and I even made our own ladder, and
cool.
we made our picks. That was phenomenal to watch. The night that Kyle posted it on YouTube, we watched it on TV. I mean, it was really, really good. And I have to brag here that I picked the winner.
So did I.
Pick the winner.
I mean, like, come on, that was easy. Isn't that crazy? Like, to me, that's the craziest part about it. We were just talking about Anthony Bertozzi and you know, Bo's one of those guys, Randy Lyn, we could talk about this later, but there are some guys who just know how to win, right? They just,
that's right.
They got a win light switch, right? They're like, okay, time to turn the win light on, and the win lights. And as soon as I saw the list of names, the greatest of the great, the best that there's ever been, many, many Mellow Yellow championships and many, many Lucas Oil championships and many $1 million bracket race wins. And I saw one name, and I was like, there's your winner. Said it on the show. Clay, you and I obviously are on the same page. Like, what is it with Pete? The guy is like next level of the greatest of all time.
He's the Terminator. Yep, he's the Terminator, no doubt about it.
How, though? Like, that's why, I mean, no, he's good, right? Yeah, it's savant. But how?
Yeah, I don't know. It was really fun to watch, and I hope they do another version of that. And the thing is, I mean, you know, most of the pros, you know, do not let go of a button. I mean, Bo's got to do it a little bit because he got on this kick and bought a super gas car, you know, and you're talking about chasing points. Randy Lyn, y'all kind of chased points a little bit with that deal. I mean, because Bo had a legitimate shot of winning the super gas championship. I guess that was last year, correct?
Yeah. Yeah,
Randy
that
Lyn
was a blast. I loved that part of it.
Very deep in the rounds at Indy, right? Like, where was that you went way deep into the rounds in that car, Randy Lyn?
Yeah, I think I lost like 4th or 5th round at Indy with a super gas car. And I hadn't drove anything like that in a long time, other than my super street car like over 10 years ago. I hadn't let go of a button, just my leg. So it was way better than I thought. I was a little intimidated at first. I didn't get a test because we went to test the factory stock showdown car, and it started sprinkling. And I had made like an 8th mile run, lifted, and I went into Indy thinking, gosh, should I withdraw? Should I, you know, what should I do? And Bo was like, oh, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. And I made one run. Yeah. I came back and I had the biggest smile on my face, and I was like, I can do this. And like 1st and 2nd round, I did a very good job driving the stripe. And I'm like, maybe I'm not just a stock eliminator racer. Maybe I could do this. So right now the car's getting redone. It's at Race Tech, and where it's getting rewired, everything. It needed a whole revamp. So
Oh yeah, it needed
I'm
a
hoping
whole revamp. It only won like the first race it was competed in, right? Like, come on, what kind of revamp did it need?
yeah, I called it slimy green though. It was a slimy green color with a little bit of blue, and that's not really my style. I'm more of a clean car is a happy car. That's what my friend Jimmy DeFrank says. So yeah, I'm going back to a little bit less chaotic.
I get it. All right, Clay, you sent in a picture. We saw your wheelie picture of the '01 Werner Top Fuel Dragster going up and going over, but you had also sent me a photo of an actual General Lee car back in the day. And what's the story behind this car? Is that your car?
That is my car. I got that car when I was 15 years old. It was my second vehicle. Daddy gave me a old 63 Dodge truck. And this Dodge Charger, Mom and Dad had the little grocery store, which is behind the picture of the General Lee there. That's Mom and Daddy's little store. Well, that Charger was parked out front. It had a crashed passenger side fender on it. And I just had to have it. I was, being the age I am, I love the Dukes of Hazzard. And Daddy somehow made a deal and traded my Dodge truck for that Charger. And being with the Dukes of Hazzard on TV, shortly prior to that, took the thing to Earl Scheib, got a $79.95 paint job, painted it orange, and a guy at school actually hand painted the '01 on it, and that was my first car. That's actually the first car I ever took to the drag strip was that car.
Wow, you had an actual General Lee, which is incredible. Yep. Randi Lyn, you guys were the Dukes of Hazzard for Halloween one year.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know if Clay knows this, but Bo's name really isn't Bo. His name is James. And, when he was like 4, 5, 6, his grandma, was calling him to the dinner table saying, Jimmy, come here. And he didn't want to be called Jimmy. He had, there's like James, Jimmy, there's all kinds of them in the family. And she said, well, what do you want me to call you? And he said, Bo, because that's what was on TV. And that's been his name ever since, is everybody calls him Bo now. And so when we were first deciding what to do for our Halloween get up, one day CMT was on in the kitchen while I was cooking breakfast. And I was like, that's what we should do. We should be the General Lee. We should do Dukes of Hazzard. And it just kind of came natural the first year, which is now tumbled into a lot of craziness that I don't know if Bo likes all the time. But I would love to redo that year that we did the General Lee because it was pretty awesome.
My favorite was Smokey and the Bandit, though. Do you have a favorite, Clay, that they have done? They've got Back to the Future. They're very deep into this. And speaking of things that Bo is probably stressed out by, the category of things that Bo is stressed out by, Halloween. But the championship year, of course, with the Smokey and the Bandit. Those 70s car movies, though, really were all car crazy, probably because of that. You had the Dukes of Hazzard. I don't know what it was, Wednesday night or Thursday night. I remember my parents let me watch it. It was a big deal. I was a little kid. And then, of course, Smokey and the Bandit 1 and 2, Smokey and the Bandit 3. Nobody talks about it. It was bad. Cannonball Run, obviously, was a big, big deal. But they were car movies, right? Going out there, going fast with cars. Yeah. And look at us. We're all car crazy.
Yeah, without a doubt, my favorite that Randi Lyn and Bo did, was obviously the Dukes of Hazzard. I mean, that being my first car, I love it. I've actually became friends with a guy named Robert Kibbe, who has a podcast called The Kibbe and Friends Show. I've been on the show, and every week on their podcast, they review an episode of the Dukes of Hazzard. I mean, I just find it fantastic, and it's funny. Right now, they're doing the season where Bo and Luke were not on the show and they hate it, but they're kind of making their way through it. It's just funny. But the to get to do the Top Fuel car, we were sponsored by Werner Enterprises, and actually right now as we speak, I'm getting a text message from one of the guys who works at Werner Enterprises that was involved in that. But And Craig, I know he's watching it. Craig, stop texting me. It's popping up on my phone while we're doing this.
I'm watching you, Clay. I'm watching you, Clay. He's using his phone. No, that's
Yeah, it was cool. I mean, again, having had that as my first car, and then when Johnny Knoxville and they come out with the remake of the movie, and for Peter Lehman and Warner Enterprises to put a deal together with Warner Brothers Studio and to have my Top Fuel car done up like the General Lee was phenomenal. And then to be such a, something people still talk about to this day, flipping the thing over. But I mean, I'm driving the General Lee, you got to jump it. And so that's what I did. Luckily, Bo didn't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, this year Halloween is on the Saturday of Vegas. So I'm trying to generate a trick or treat meet and greet and make it huge like it is in Pro Stock and Pro Stock Bikes. So Clay, maybe you can bring that car back.
Maybe.
Clay is not afraid to wear a costume. You know what? You guys sent me some photos, and I tried to get as many up in, but I've got a great photo of Clay that, I should have thought it would go this way. At a Doug Herbert put on the brakes gala, and he was dressed as Howard Stern. Man, it was one of the best costumes I've ever seen because I didn't even know it was Clay. He's talking to me, and I don't know who this dude is, man. Like, who is this guy? And he's like, it's Clay. And I was like, oh, my gosh, incredible. So the point is, you're willing to get in a costume, Clay. You should do it.
And actually, that Brakes Gala was a 70s themed gala. And the get-up that Donna had got for me, for whatever reason, when I put it on, I guess I did. I looked like Howard Stern because that's what everybody thought. I was Howard Stern. And I'm not 6 foot tall. And anyway, I guess I should have found that photo and sent to you because I thought me and Donna both looked pretty cool in our 70s get-up.
You guys look great. You look great. Any reason? That's such a great race. Like, I hope, man, we're going to be back, right? We're going to be there. I mean, I feel like the news has been pretty positive. There's a lot of negative news, don't get me wrong, with great respect to those who have lost their lives, obviously. But they say that we are flattening the curve. Man, I want to go back drag racing so badly. That Vegas race, in a critical time, everybody's thinking about championship, but they take a little time to have fun.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. All right, Joe. So you said for us to have a drink. So I'm going to tell y'all now, I'm drinking a healthy energy drink. So Randi Lyn, what are you drinking? You're drinking, you're not in a red Solo cup. You're in a white.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to try to drink some wine, be really sophisticated, but we didn't have any. And we didn't have any red Solo cups either. So I have some Tito's and orange juice and vodka, but I haven't drank very much yet.
Get on it, Randi. Hey, here's to lady and gentlemen. Thank you very much for coming on WFO Radio Live. We really appreciate you doing this, making the time to. We've got quite a big audience out there. Thank you so much for doing it. Cheers.
Absolutely.
Chintante. Excellent. All right, here's a long question for Randi Lyn submitted via text from a guy named Wade. And it is very long. It may cover all of our faces, but I will read it. Here it is. For Randi, how does NHRA Sportsman Racing look down the road? I know the car counts keep getting cut. Just wondering if they will be getting cut even more. It seems like it takes 8 grading points to run a national. Will there be a Sportsman National event and other sports nationals? P.S. Love the ladies in the sportsman cars. Randi Lyn is at the top of the list. Says Wade. Thank you, Wade. That is a great, very detailed question.
Yes. Thank you, Wade. I don't know if I'm at the top of the list. I just get to run a lot more races than a lot of the girls. So, it kind of gets my name out there. But, really, I don't feel like I'm just one of the girls. I'm just another stock eliminator racer. And there's a bunch of us out there. And the car counts are getting cut to make the show better for NHRA. I know a lot of people complain about this. And it's hit or miss. In some ways that it doesn't work out, and in some ways it works out better for NHRA. So I don't really think that they found their correct vibe yet. I think it's just something that it's all trial and error that they're trying to work on. And, like some of the races, I think Gainesville had like a 60 car field for stock eliminator. That's very, very low. We could have probably took 120 cars. It could have been, they could have took a full field like they do at Indy and just added a day, and cars would have still showed up. So stock eliminator and all of the sportsman categories are still very lively. I mean, it's growing like crazy, especially with all the big money bracket races out there right now. But I think that NHRA is just trying to be the elite, and they want you to run certain divisionals in order to get into the nationals. And right now, it's just crazy how many divisionals it really takes to get into those national events.
Yeah, that is the deal. And I get it. First of all, NHRA makes money off sportsman racers. And so there's a reason why they have to cut the fields. And it's, I think there's many reasons, but one of them is pit space. Everybody's rig has gotten so huge and everything's gotten so big. And so there's less space. That's one of my things. Someone wants to know what I'm drinking. Jameson. I have, not that I'm a big Jameson guy, but it was a gift. It's in the house. I grabbed it, and I'm using it on my Fridays. And soon it will be gone. Just like that. We got.
Joe, Clay is a former sportsman racer, so he can probably chime in, a little bit on the sportsman stuff and how they're eliminating the car counts and what he thinks a little bit.
Yeah, what do you think, Clay? Former bracket racer. Go.
Well, I mean, I've done Super Gas, Super Comp, Super Street. I love the sportsman guys, and I keep looking over. I've got a watch party going, and I've got people chiming in. And actually, a few minutes ago, we were talking about iRacing, and Cole Cummings just replied that drag racers would probably be banned from iRacing, and I probably can't disagree with that very much. But, getting in some of the races is definitely crazy. I wish the fields were bigger, but Joe, you're right. The rigs have gotten so big. A lot of the tracks we go to, they simply don't have room to park them all. But, I think the more the merrier. I mean, because I ended up in a top fuel car from starting out bracket racing, going super gas racing and all those things. And it was being at those tracks and being exposed to people is how I ended up meeting, Raymond King, which in turn is how I met Peter Lehman. And that's why I'm here. I love the sportsman racing. I keep up with it every chance I get. I'm out in the sportsman pits. I go look around and I'm going to jump back to something that we talked about way earlier. Randi Lyn has definitely made, more people pay attention to Stock Eliminator between her and Slate Cummins, who makes stock like a spectator sport, holding 2 or 3 tents and doing all the crazy things he does at the finish line when he's going down the racetrack. The racing is exciting. It's fun to watch, and especially like stock and super stock, it's a little bit easier for the fans to watch and understand what's going on, where I think a lot of times the super classes, even though I'm a huge fan of them, they don't understand the throttle stops, but I love sportsman racing. I am still a sportsman racer at heart.
I think without sportsman racing, we don't have pro racing. And so a lot of people are always like, oh, are we just going to have pro races and no sportsmen there, or just sports nationals for the sportsman guys? And I don't think that works very well, not for the sportsman racer or for the pro racer, because we all want to be on that big stage. Not necessarily me, but, Bo, for example, without Bo getting to meet Jason Line at a national event where we were running sportsmen, we would have never been racing pro stock. So it kind of all falls in together. I think that the pro racing needs sportsman racing.
I agree. There's been a lot of columns out about should the sportsman racers get their own thing? Yeah, but the problem is, I hate to say this, but Joe and his diehard drag racing fan friends will be the only ones that are going. The fans show up to see 330 mile per hour crazy machines that they should not be able to go that fast. Really? How fast? How fast do they go? They can't 300 miles an hour, man. No, that's impossible. Nothing can go 300 miles an hour. No, these things do. They're really loud. It's crazy. Come see it. And people come to see that, and then they see this amazing 67 Pontiac Firebird almost flip over backwards with a hot blonde chick racing it, and they're like, what? That's that. And then they become a fan of Stock Eliminator. I think that's how it works.
Yeah, I think that a big problem in NHRA right now, and Phoenix is one major example. My car was in CarCraft magazine earlier last year, and the amount of fans that came up to me, I didn't even know people really still got CarCraft magazine. I know my grandpa did back in the day, but when they were doing the whole story on me, I was like, CarCraft magazine, that's old. Yeah. And the amount of people in Phoenix that came up to me and were like, was this car just in a magazine? And they're like, when do you race? And I'm like, well, we've been racing all weekend. I think that there is a definite problem when we're not broadcasted, or I don't know, publicized, I guess is a better word for it, because NHRA should let fans know, everybody's grandpa had one of them cars, or they remember their neighbor having one of them cars that they were cleaning in the driveway. Like, you can all kind of relate to the older stock Eliminator cars. And if you can't, you can definitely relate to all the new Cobra Jets and Copo Camaros, So I think that everybody can relate to something in stock Eliminator, maybe not in Super Gas and Super Comp as much, but once they figure out what the classes are all about, I think that they become a lot more interesting.
Absolutely. And what we've seen is that if you put something on a screen, people will be interested in it. So we could have a show only about stock Eliminator. And if you show the personalities and you pick some good people and you get some good beefs going on, Clay, you mentioned the Cummings family, right? Great. Yep. They tried to bring back dry hops in stock Eliminator a few years ago. Why? Just cause. Let's do it. And Driving the Stripe, Randi Lyn, you've been very helpful in our Drive the Stripe show that we have on NHRA's Facebook page. That I would love to get back to doing that again to show what goes on the top end. There's a lot of interesting things happening in these categories, but it's all right, stock Eliminator, all right, that's it, get down the track, all right, next. You got to slow down a little bit, take a little time.
Well, Absolutely. Just look at it. I'm a dragster guy. Dragsters don't have the personality that door cars do. And look how big the TV shows are, Street Outlaws, No Prep Kings, all that. And it ain't just the personalities, it's the cars, and dragsters don't have the personality that cars do. Let's just face it, okay, my blowover, whatever, it was huge and massive, but that's not normal. It is very normal for a stock Eliminator car to leave carrying the front end, and people love that. And I think Randi Lyn's 100% right. People just don't realize that the show they're missing while they're in the pit areas watching us service the top fuel cars. Granted, all I ever dreamed about was driving a top fuel car, and they are the king of the sport and all that. But there is definitely more to be shown about the sportsman cars that is not being seen. And I love them. I just think it's so cool. There is so many personalities. Obviously Randi Lyn's personality. We talked about the Cummins family. Every one of those guys are personalities. Right now on my watch party, we got Jed Pennington tuned in from the Luke and Jed show. They have a show every week. Yep, Jed's watching right now. And very popular show, all about sportsman racing. Sportsman racing is huge.
Yeah.
And, Randi Lyn's 100% right. There's more to be done about, showing those guys, highlighting them. It is so many characters in that pit area that is unbelievable.
So one of my WFO radio listeners, this guy, Justin, has been with me back to the NASCAR radio, XM satellite radio days. And he's a NASCAR fan, but he's been listening to WFO, and he's getting into drag racing. He wants to know if all the NHRA cars, trucks, motorcycles race at one event or are separate like Xfinity and Truck Series at NASCAR races. And so that shows me, he's a racing fan already. It shows me that we got a lot of room to grow. There's a lot of people that still have yet to even experience what we're doing. And the answer is, Justin, everybody runs at different events. You got to look at your schedule to pick out which one. But there are some events where everybody's at.
Yep, for sure. And I'm a hop in on, people that haven't seen our sport and all that. And we run into this a lot, because obviously the nitro classes and Bo, same thing in pro stock. It is hard to get sponsorships. And usually the final selling point, if you can ever get somebody to show up at a national event, they go, wow, I get it now. And the next thing you know, you might have a new sponsor. You got to get them to the events. And once they see it, then they're like, I get it now.
That's it. All right, this guy, Michael, says the coolest thing about sportsman cars is they have names. And what's missing about the nitro cars are the names. Now, Parts Plus, obviously, they need that space, Clay. But let's talk names. Clay, cars, names. People are asking about Dentley, by the way. There's a name. But what about it? Does your car have a name? Maybe it's not on there, but did you name your car?
Man, that's one of those things where it has to come naturally. The truck project that we're working on and have been for a long time, that name came naturally, and kind of like Randi Lyn said, she might have stolen it a little bit, but the Pontiac Firebird, torque monster. So some of my Werner cars, actually one in particular, it was called the Rap Mobile. A lot of people watching may be shocked by this, but I'm a huge rap music guy. And one of the years where we won a lot, we had rap music blasting constantly, and the top fuel car became named the Rap Mobile, not like Batmobile, but Rap Mobile. Might have been a little Ice Cube playing quite frequently in the background.
Yeah. Do you hang out with Tobler? There's another one. Ron Tobler is a huge hip hop guy. Nobody realizes it, but he likes and he likes West Coast and he likes hip hop, which I wouldn't guess that, but that is the case.
Yeah.
And it's the case with you too. What about you, Randi Lyn? What is your favorite form of music?
Well, if you come by our pitch, you're either going to hear 80s style rock and roll, or you're going to hear ghetto rap all the time. And, some of our crew guys, they're like, oh, everybody thinks it's because of us that you guys play this music. And I'm like, no, that's Bo Butner. Bo Butner loves that kind of music.
Oh, you're talking about Jeff.
So,
is what you're talking about.
Sometimes the preacher man comes by and Bo's like, hey, we got to turn that music down. Preacher man's here.
You're not talking about Craig Garland, are you?
Yes.
He's fine.
So since we're bringing up Preacher Craig, that's what I call him. Craig Garland. I love him. I don't know if y'all have ever watched the Friday movies, but Ice Cube did the Friday movies. And there's at the beginning of the rap song, Don't Stop, Get It, Get It.
Yeah.
It is a line out of one of the Friday movies. Now, Craig, it's going to be different living out here. Don't let your uncle or your cousin get you any kind of crap now, you hear? And every time I see Craig, I tell him that. I might even say the bad word to Preacher Craig every now and then. But, yeah, it's funny. Me and Bo are definitely on the same line of music. Mine is definitely classic rock and roll or rap music. That's it. No country and Western.
Listen, I was going to ask you guys about music you like, right? It's funny that it just came up. But I was going to ask you about the music that you liked the least, right? And for me, it's country and Western. But even in the music you like the least, whatever it is, usually you have one group that you like. Like, so for me with country and Western, I like Alabama. I don't know why, but I like Alabama. Song of the South. They got a couple of songs. They're like, I like that, right? What about you? Like least favorite genre, favorite band within it? Let's start off with Clay.
Well, definitely country and Western. I'm not a fan, but I can listen to, and I don't know that you really call Charlie Daniels country music.
Yeah. Charlie Daniels, they're a perfect example.
Charlie Daniels, L.A. by Omaha, that's a good song, but Kentucky Headhunters. I don't know if y'all know Kentucky Headhunters. I like their stuff. It's kind of rock, country, hillbilly kind of music. I like them.
Are you going to get kicked out of Tennessee for saying you don't like country and Western music?
People around here, my neighbors, they hear it quite frequently, rather loud, and it's normally some Dr. Dre or, maybe some Lil Wayne or some, you never know what's going to be blasting out of my shop back there.
All right, Randi Lyn, least favorite music genre, favorite band within. You get what we're doing here.
Yeah, I don't, for the most part, like girl singers as a whole, but I love Mariah Carey. I have since I was a little girl. I like everything about her.
All right.
I just recently made Bo go see Mariah Carey in Vegas, and he loved it, despite what he might tell you.
He loved it.
But,
he loved it.
Yeah.
He loved it. Well,
yeah,
Mariah,
I'm a big Mariah Carey fan.
Listen, let me tell you about Mariah. Mariah's hot. She's doing really well. Like, come on, Mariah.
Yeah.
Like, there are some people, and she's one of those one name people as well, Mariah Carey. And I remember when she and Derek Jeter were dating. That was a big thing for those of us fans of Derek Jeter. So
Bo wanted me to let you know he was one of the two straight guys in the concert.
He was one of the two. Who was the other one, Bo? And how do you know?
Very embarrassed the whole time he was there. He was not happy about it.
Well, that's what's funny is when we go to Vegas, there's always like a crew of you guys, Randi Lyn. I know you guys all go to these girl stuff, and Jason Logan normally goes along with you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have a girl squad plus Jason Logan. He's part of our girl squad.
Right.
We've been to Backstreet Boys and Magic Mike, and yeah, he's a good time.
You got Jason
Logan. He takes care of all of us when we get crazy.
Yeah, exactly. He's not that dumb. He's pretty smart. He knows. So people want to know if Dentley's going to be ready for Drag Week, Clay.
Ooh, I must say no. And even if it is,
Good
I
answer.
think with
No.
yeah, I'm gonna say no. So Dentley is still at Jeff Lutz's, and Jeff and those guys are kind of at a standstill. But Jeff's in the process of putting together a new No Prep Kings car for himself, and they actually continued to work. Asian and Farm Truck and Jeff Lutz has a brand new show that'll be coming out. I'm not sure when, but they continued to film because it was a small film crew, and they just now stopped filming for their new show. So yeah, Dentley hadn't got worked on a whole lot lately. So, but I can't wait. But Drag Week probably is out for me this year. I was planning on going, even though I don't think Dentley would be ready. But our race schedule, once the go button is hit, it's going to be go.
There you go. Clay says it'll be ready for Drag Week. You just don't know which year. That's all.
Yes.
Warren wants to know, Randy, have you ever made a pass in Bo's Pro Stock car? So the answer is no, not yet. But how do we make that happen? Right? I think that's the natural progression of what we're getting to. And we know Bo is right there somewhere listening. Warren wants to know.
He's right here beside me, really.
Yes.
I have thought about it several times and almost tried to make some test passes in a car before Indy last year, but I don't know. I kind of like the low keyness of stock eliminator. I like just being a stock racer. I don't know that I would like all the chaoticness of being a real pro stock racer. I like the idea of making a run and just proving to Bo and all of our guys that I could do it, because I definitely think I could do it. But I don't know that just all the chaos that comes with it, I don't know that I can handle that. I have enough chaos just handling Bo, Daryl, and all of our guys.
Chaos. What is this chaos? Example. Chaos. Like, what are you talking about? Clay's a top fuel guy.
Gosh.
Chaos. Like, what do you mean?
Well, I cook for all of our guys at KB Racing also. So we have like 40 of us, along with the Kramer team and now the Kyle Koretsky team, who he really hasn't got to make his debut yet.
Yeah.
So we have a big team that I still cook for and run the t-shirt trailer. And then, if somebody needs to get ice, that's me. I go get the ice or whatever it might be. So we just have a lot of chaos. I couldn't imagine trying to drive a pro stock car in the mix of all that.
Well, no, of course not. You get somebody that weekend to do it. Speaking of which, thank you for inviting me down for a meal at Orlando. That was great.
No.
And Kyle Koretsky is going to be great. Like that kid,
Yeah.
First of all, like Kid Chaos, the captain's kid, what a nice kid. Like, forget racing. Like, what a nice kid. Him and Aaron Stanfield, and like we got such a great crop of young pro stock racers coming up. All right, before we go, because we're over an hour now, and this is great, and I appreciate it. And everybody out there, hopefully you're enjoying it. This is all a big commercial for the WFO Radio Podcast. Subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, SoundCloud, etc. But Clay, I want to talk about a big moment that you had that I remember. It's one of my greatest drag racing moments, and it's your big win out there in Tennessee. Sorry, Randi Lyn, that Clay is like covering you right there. Like
that's all right.
Like,
he deserves it.
He does. But I have, I'm a drag racing fan who happens to be a broadcast person, and I'm very fortunate that I'm able to do broadcast stuff in drag racing. And so there are moments that I recognize, like, wow, man, I'm really lucky to be able to be here. And it was after your win at Bristol. And Jason Logan, the aforementioned, had to bust out early, and they were like, Joe, you got to get on stage before Alan and, like, warm the crowd, and you're coming into the winner's circle, and we're throwing out T-shirts, and, like, the gravity of that moment, like, wow. One of the best moments to this day that I have been involved with NHRA drag racing. Now, you're way down the road. That Clay, the Clay who hadn't won a race, like, that's different Clay. You've had a lot of good runs. You got a really strong team. You've set records. You've had really strong performances, but still, that day, wow.
Yeah, nothing that I can do here going forward, and actually nothing in my drag racing past, including 6 straight world championships, nothing will top that day. I mean, it was 254 starts without a win. I don't know how many runner-ups, and the way that all played out, I mean, things happen for a reason, and it was supposed to be that day, that race, Father's Day with having lost Dalton, all the things that stacked up and lined up. That was an unbelievable day, very emotional. It still will make me tear up, if I start thinking about it too much, because man, what a wonderful day. Every now and then, I'll see a post about it, and nothing will ever top that. I'll never forget the top end, all the things that happened there, and then going up, on stage, and yeah, it was a beautiful day. That's all I know to call it. Nothing will top that. I mean,
No. Incredible.
And I've had some awesome days. I mean, my first Top Fuel win was against Shirley Muldowney, which was incredible, but emotionally and just everything that went along with that day was unbeatable. I don't care what I do from here forward. That one will still be the top of the list.
And you got a big event coming up, right? Tell us a little bit about breaks out at Memphis. Tell us about that.
Yeah, there's a lot of history, obviously, between Doug Herbert and myself. You can go look that up on YouTube and find, Doug Herbert and I ended up in a little shoving match on live television at Maple Grove. And, of course, it was like Mutt and Jeff. He's a giant and I'm a little bitty fella. And
you did good for us little fellas, by the way. It's not the size of the dog in the fight. It's the size of the fight in the dog. Everybody knows that.
Oh, for sure. It was crazy, but he and I are now like great friends. And, every year, I think this will be our 5th or 6th year. I'm not sure. 5th year. I host, and Donna and I, we host a Breaks Teenage Driving School, which is an organization that Doug Herbert started. It's a free teen driving course, and we do it out at the Memphis International Raceway every year. And it's October 25th and 26th this year. And I got to be honest, I'm a little nervous. I've got to call Doug and find out, obviously they can do it without me, but it'll be weird because I got a feeling we'll be racing on that weekend. Again, back to the condensed schedule.
Sure.
But we really enjoy it. We put a lot into it, and it's very rewarding. I mean, we teach 144 kids safer driving, and I'm not one of the instructors, but we're there for every minute of it, and it is a lot of work, but it's extremely rewarding to think that you might have some small little part of making a teenager a safer driver.
So, yeah, absolutely. And something that, what Doug went through, like I can't even imagine, and that he has been able to take that and turn it into something positive. That's what you do when you have something negative happen. You try real hard, and he was able to do it. That is amazing. I don't know that I would be able to do it. All right, something else in terms of Clay. Look, Randi Lyn, I moved it over. So we don't we block out me. We don't block out you. I know what the audience likes. Clay, look at that ET slip right there.
Yeah, I had to send you that picture. That's
insanity, man. Come on, all you listeners out there, comments on YouTube and Facebook. Randi Lyn, look at that thing. Like 809.60, 296 at the 8th, and there's a person in there. You're doing that.
Yeah, and, it's now no longer the quickest run in history, but it's still something I'm pretty proud of. I mean, if you look at that 8th mile time, 2.897 at 296 miles an hour, there has been a car that has been faster to half track, and now Brittany Force has been a touch quicker at 1,000 feet. But first car to ever run 280 anything in the 8th mile. I mean, there's so much out there, and I love the Radio versus the World, and they're talking about going 350s and talking about somebody maybe going 340s. But think about that. 289 in the 8th mile, 2.89 seconds, 809 60 foot. That thing was a rocket ship. And I shut it off early. I actually shut the throttle off at 940 feet. So it could have been quicker.
Crazy. And, prep, I just spoke with Keith Berry yesterday. We did a Facebook Live with Keith Berry. Nice guy, great guy. And I'm really interested in the radial stuff. It's just their track prep situation is very different. And track prep is a big part of this deal. Now, I don't know what our crew chiefs could do if we raced on a track prep like that. There would obviously be like a learning curve. But, boy, after the learning curve, something would it would be very different, the down track numbers, I think.
So I got to ask real quick, Randi Lyn, at one point, I know Bo was talking about and maybe even working on a no prep car. Is that still happening or no?
Yeah, we actually have it was going to be twin turbos, but they didn't quite fit. So now we're going to be a Pro Charger car, which is really a whole lot better option because Bo knows how to tune those a little bit better. And it's pretty much done, but we were told by, I think Chuck, is that the little guy that does a lot of the commentating and stuff. We were told that we weren't allowed to show up at some of their No Prep Kings races because they didn't want any big teams coming in and taking over. So right about the time we got the car done, they kind of informed us that nope, you're not allowed. So we're still going to take it out. We're still going to do some other things, and who knows, maybe I think they have like a race to win thing now, so that's a possibility that we'll go to hit a couple of those and try to race our way into the event. But yeah, we've been to one no prep race and the whole track was covered in pollen, and Bo was like, you're going to sweep that up, aren't you? And they're like, no, it'll blow off when you go down the track. So it was really exciting and a definite turn of events, and we're going to give it a couple more shots. The betting, the dice throwing in the burnout box during downtime, the cards in the stands, like it was nuts. It was way different than an NHRA race, but it was a definite good time.
It's funny you bring up betting. That makes me think about Rockingham and a couple other races where Bo may or may not have been involved with some betting going on in the grandstands during some IHRA qualifying.
He talks about that a lot, and a lot of times he still tries to get people to bet, even in pro stock. Like it'll be qualifying, he's like, hey, you want to bet on best light? And when Drew Skillman still ran, they'd always have some kind of side bet going on when they got to race. But it's hard to get some of them guys to put a little bit of money on the line.
Right. And thank God for him, because that, to me, that's interesting. That's just another, like, as an announcer, like, we're looking for things to talk about. It can't always be about 10-5 and like you want there to be some sort of conflict, and $1,000 wager on reaction time or getting to the finish line first and qualifying is perfect.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and you really got to pay attention when you're betting in the grandstands. Again, I know Bo has way more experience at this than I do, but a lot of times it didn't matter if somebody redlined or not. It's first to the finish line. You've got to pay attention to what kind of bet you make, especially when you're in the grandstands doing it.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. All right, Randi Lyn, couple of things, right? You get sent some great photographs here. There's you as Miss Hurst, Linda Vaughn, taking the Halloween thing very seriously. We already mentioned the fact that you guys have done a great job with Halloween over the years. The whole family, though. Like, this is the epitome of a family operation. You, when we had the unfortunate passing of Bob Glidden a few years ago, you revealed that Bob and Edo were your babysitter. Like, you literally grew up drag racing. Like, you are a drag racing baby that has grown into someone who is now, like, making a living in the sport and loving the sport. And it's not just you, your whole family.
Yeah, it's actually kind of crazy. Like 25 years before I won the Gainesville race last year, my dad went to Gainesville with Bob and Etta Glidden, and just as a friend, him and Billy were buddies, and he went down there just to hang out and watch the drag races. And he ended up bringing home my first junior dragster. So that kind of started the rotation of my junior drag racing career, which led to me meeting Bo, running stock eliminator, and the whole pro stock thing. So it's kind of crazy how life works itself out. But that picture is from Norwalk. That's one of my favorite wins. It was the first win that my whole family was there.
Wow.
Bo's mom was there. His kids were there. And it was a great time.
Amazing. You've had, like, Norwalk, a great racetrack. Saw Bill Bader on Facebook the other day. I'm like, we got to get this thing over with so we can get back to racing. All right, so one more thing.
Absolutely.
I want to talk about, like, Clay, you can weigh in on this if you like. Randi Lyn, what's up with this? What's up with this?
Well, that was actually like 7 years ago when I first got engaged, but we are actually going to seal the deal this year when we go to Vegas. Hopefully we're going to Vegas because we have a big party planned for the Monday after the Vegas national event at the end of the year. So it's going to be a crazy weekend for me between Halloween and the wedding. But yeah, you guys are all invited. It's going to be a good time.
Okay, that's just the people on the show, folks. All you listeners out there.
Yeah.
I don't know. Randy, like, you have to
I don't know. If you talk to Bo, he invites everybody.
Oh my!
He wants the whole world involved.
So okay,
Clay and Donna better be there.
So I know you said I didn't come across this photo. Like, so it's going down this year. Like, this is the year. It's going down.
Yeah, November 2nd.
And you're doing Vegas after the big race, the Halloween race. And what are you doing in Vegas? Like, because I got married in Vegas. Do you know that? There's a fun fact.
No,
yeah,
I did not know that. Yeah, I never knew you were married,
I
actually.
I was married. And man, the best, didn't work out, but it was very peaceful and friendly and positive the way it didn't work out. But the wedding, best ever in Vegas, in Bellagio, went across to the Venetian for the after party. What's that thing called? The after party? The reception, that's right.
Reception.
Right, the reception. But Vegas weddings can be great. They can be fantastic. So what are you thinking about doing?
We have a whole lot of craziness planned. Me and my friend Austin Williams, we always joke, Bo's like, oh, whatever.
I think you're
whatever
supposed to
want.
say. I think you're supposed to say U.S. Nationals winner, Austin Williams.
Yeah, that Austin Williams.
Yeah.
Me and him have like a bunch of crazy surprises planned. And Bo, he just kind of rolls his eyes at us with our crazy illusions. And I don't know, I think there's going to be a lot of crazy surprises. And we have like a weekend of fun planned for everybody. So look forward to your invitations.
That is awesome. No, it's great to hear and tremendous. All right, guys, that's it. It's happy hour. We're having a good time, a lot of fun. Thank you so much. You guys have been, before we sign off, I just want to thank you for, we're trying to make it in the world, right, with WFO Radio and the podcast. And Clay and Randi Lyn, you have both been willing to do anything. And at the track with NHRA, like, they have given me the freedom to do some things on their social media that I think our fans, drag racing fans like me, would be interested in, like Drive the Stripe, Randi Lyn, and like ways to expose sports and racers to things that fans don't know about. And Clay, in rain delays, there have been times that you have just dropped everything for us. So on a personal level and professional level, like, thank you, both of you, for even this. Like, hey, you guys want it? You're like, yes. Like, you sure you know? Yes. You guys just sign up for whatever I say so far. So thank you for that, and thank you for doing this, and hopefully you've had fun.
We've had a blast.
Clay, have you had a blast?
It has definitely been a lot of fun. I appreciate you letting us come on.
Yeah, there it is. Now, Randi Lyn, is Bo there? Is he monitoring this whole thing?
Yeah, I keep telling him to come in here and
listen,
say hi.
Bo, enough of this. I see Randy's eyes. I know she's looking at you. Get in here. Sit on her lap or squish in with her. Squish in with her. We know y'all's in love.
He says he's busy, but since this Corona thing has happened, he's looking for things
there
to do.
There he is. Hello,
and
no, move to
when are we going to race again? Can we start over?
I don't know, man. I don't know. We're going to race. The numbers are changing. We're going to race. We'll be back out there. It's going to be different. I saw your interview on Drag Racing TV the other day. I thought you did a great job. Look, we just got to wait it out, right? The worst thing would be to try to come back too soon and then have it flare up again and have to go through all this again.
Yeah. Hopefully that is not
Hey,
happening.
tell him, Joe, I have to give our buddy Chip Laughlin a shout out for Strut Masters.
Yeah.
Clay, I know you had a relationship with him also. Really good old guy. Went through some surgery, had a hip replacement. He's pumped up. He's ready to go back racing. So hope he gets healed up and well, and we'll see him soon.
There you go. Bo, thank you very much for lending us Randi Lyn for the past hour and a half. It was fantastic. So, Bo, November. It's the date. It's locked.
You have to tell me what he said later. Bye-bye.
Oh, there he goes.
I have my earbuds in. He can't hear you.
Oh, there it is. All right, Randi
He
Lyn.
might be the runaway groom. We don't know yet.
That would be a big mistake. Don't you think that would be a big mistake, Clay?
Oh, Bo is definitely, he knows that he's doing the right thing. And I'm excited to go to this wedding.
Oh, my gosh. It's going to be crazy. They're partying as people in the pit area. All right, Clay, we're going to jettison you first. Thank you very much, Clay. I really appreciate it. Really appreciate you. Thank you for sharing on your Facebook page with all your fans and all fans of Clay. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Clay is up on Twitter, does a great job with the Twitter handle, sharing all kinds of great stuff, weaving our fans into it. The thing you did with, like, hiding prizes and places, like creativity, all that stuff. Clay, thank you so much. I really appreciate you.
Thank you for having me on. It was great seeing you guys. Can't wait to see you at the racetrack.
There he goes, Clay Millican. And Randi Lyn, you're not active on Twitter. I got your Twitter handle on there, but we got to get it. But you are very active.
I'm going to get better at it. I'll try to get better at it.
You know what? Just focus on Instagram, honestly. We want to see pictures, tweets. I don't know. I'm kind of over it, but whatever. It's just easy to put up there. But I really appreciate what you've done, and thank you so much for, like, just really taking the lead with Nitro Fish and the WFO Radio T-shirts and all of that stuff like that. It was so helpful to me because I'm the kind of person that, I don't know if it would have ever happened if you hadn't, like, really got aggressive with it. And I really appreciate you doing that. And thank you for sharing the time with us here today.
Anytime. I appreciate you having me. It's been a good time.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, right? Like Friday cocktails. We had a good time.
It was a blast. A way to break up this whole quarantine thing we have going on.
The quarantine is broken. That's right. That's what we do on Fridays. And thank you so much. And, in the future, we'll have to do it again. You're welcome anytime.
All right, we will. Happy Easter.
Happy Easter to you. Thank you very much, Randi Lyn. See you later.
Bye-bye.
There she goes. Randi Lyn Shipp, and that is it. Just like that, Friday cocktails. And look, Kathy is out there, says thank you. And Randi Lyn, so beautiful inside and out. And it's true, Clay and everybody and all you WFO radio listeners. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you and all of you that listen to WFO radio on a regular basis. And we are a podcast. We're doing this live stuff because everybody's home. But in the end, we're a podcast. And what we do is we do podcasts so that you can be at work, you can be driving, you can be working. WFO Radio, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, SoundCloud. WFO Radio mobile app is free. You can search for it right now. It is free. And this video will be up in the video section. Thank you, Michael, Friday Cocktails. Just trying to stay sane. Hey, who did I talk to this week? Tanner Gray about Pro Stock and being in the Gander RV and Outdoor Truck Series on the NASCAR side of the world. Tanner Gray, shout out to all the NHRA fans out there. Go into the WFO archive and see Tanner Gray. Also, Keith Berry, drag radio guy. Woo! And we had a great time with Keith Berry. So much fun. And a whole lot more coming on WFO Radio. Once we get back to racing, follow me, WFO Joe. Of course. There it is. Apple Podcasts, Spotify. We got a YouTube channel. That's where people are watching the show. SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts. And don't forget to get that WFO Radio t-shirt. Let's put Randi Lyn to work. That's what I'm talking about. All right, everybody. Really appreciate you. Appreciate everything out there. And we'll be back next week. Alan Reinhart, Q&A. Oh, yeah. It is going to be great. And so we'll see you next time right here on WFO Radio.
This is WFO Radio.
I love WFO Radio. Oh, yeah.
The views and opinions of the hosts, guests, or callers do not necessarily reflect that of the station ownership, advertisers, or agencies.
Attention adrenaline junkies, Frank Hawley's Dragster Adventure is calling you. Rides available for the 2020 season. Go to frankhawley.com. They're coming to a track near you. It makes a great gift, whether it be licensing for super comp, super gas, all the way up to top alcohol. They can do it. But if you're a drag racing fan and you've always imagined what it might be like to drive a dragster, to accelerate 0 to 60 in 3 seconds and run 10s in the quarter mile, give them a call. 866-480-7223, frankhawley.com, the Dragster Adventure, and tell them you heard it on WFO. You're working in the shop, you've got spills, you've spilled oil, it's everywhere. What are you going to do? I know what you're going to do, but that's not the best way to do it. The best way to do it is to go to magicdryus.com and order the official organic absorbent of the National Hot Rod Association, Magic Dry. It's lighter, it absorbs more, it's better for the environment. It's made out of coconut. It's made in America. magicdryus.com. They've got spill kits that include everything you need for a regular, normal household spill, all the way up to a large industrial spill. We always say, if you've got a cat, get Cat Spot. If you've got a shop, if you've got a factory, if you've got a spill, call Magic Dry. That's magicdryus.com.
Start your education at full speed with the School of Automotive Machinists and Technology. Accelerate your career as a high-performance engine builder with classroom instruction and practical hands-on experience in the lab, on the dyno, and at the track. In addition to the blockhead and CNC programs, SAM now offers motorsport EFI tuning and an Associates of Applied Science degree. And SAM is a military-friendly school, approved to train veterans and other eligible persons under the GI Bill. Start your education at full speed. Go to samtech.edu today.
We're talking gourmet coffee. We're talking hot sauces. We're talking spice rubs. We're talking everything good at RodakCoffeeandGrills.com. Marvin Rodak, been doing it since the 70s. Figured out that life is better with great coffee. And oh, he's so right. 817-924-6821. Call Marvin. He'll roast up some coffee fresh for you. Throw in some hot sauce, some spice rub, and you will be loving it. Hit him up, RodakCoffeeandGrills.com. Hey, engine builders, Total Seal piston rings are the leader in ring seal technology, and they go out of their way to help their customers and will make custom sets for any specific piston you might have. Customer service, top notch. Made in America? Absolutely. They're located in Phoenix, Arizona, and they've got everything it takes to develop the world's best piston rings. Give them a call at 800-874-2753 or go to TotalSeal.com.
Hey, this is Kathy Fisher. Join Joe Castello and myself every Sunday morning on Motor Trend for Performance TV, 8:30 a.m. Eastern. We'll